So I hope you've been having a really great week and that you have some terrific plans ahead for the weekend. Always nice to hit, the weekend and kick back a little bit, hopefully, and hope you have some downtime and some nice plans. So something I wanted to share with you today, and it's something that I have had in my life for quite a few years, and it's certainly helped me in embracing change, I would say, and making change. And it's an expression that I came across a number of years ago. And I'd like to share it with you. It goes like this: if you always do what you've always done, you'll always be what you've always been. Now, it sounds like a bit of a tongue twister, right? But it's actually quite powerful. I'll break it down. If you always do what you've always done, if you continue to do the exact same things that you've done a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, if you're still doing those exact same things now and you're blissfully happy, listen, that's great. But if you're maybe not completely happy with all parts of your life, what it's saying is that if you keep doing those same things, nothing's going to change. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but I find that it can be very easy to fall into repetition, that we can get into our comfort zones with many different parts of our life, not just the working part of our life, but just with life in general. And it can be very hard to break out of those comfort zones, even if we know there's something else we want to do, but there's something that's possibly holding us back. Usually it's fear of the unknown and not knowing if I can do it. And my experience of that has been the times that I have really stepped out of that fear and decided to take action in my life to make change, it always works out. Maybe not the way that I always thought or expected or hoped it would, but it always works out. And I can bring that same mantra of if I always do what I've always done, it's always going to be the same. I can bring that right back to my mid-20s living in Ireland. And, listen, I've been privileged to have been born and raised in Ireland, and I still call it home. I haven't lived there for 25 years, but I still call it home. But I look at my life back then, and it was because I stepped out of my comfort zone, because I wanted more. And don't get me wrong, I was very happy in Ireland. I was in a great relationship. I had a great job. Life was terrific. I was taking 2 or 3 vacations a year. I had no complaints, but there was something in me that I knew I wanted to travel. That was kind of my thing. And I listened to that. And I made the decision to step out of my comfort zone and to do something about that without knowing. There was no safety net. I had no guarantees, nothing. But I knew that I needed to do that in order to make change in my life. And I can't regret any of that. Those of you that have followed a bit of my journey will know that I spent 20 years traveling all over the world, built this ridiculous career that brought me very financially secure lifestyle. And, I've worked hard for that, but I've enjoyed the byproduct of making a great career out of it. Hasn't always been like that. When I left the cruise industry after 20 years because I wanted to live in one place, I wanted to settle down, and I stepped out of my comfort zone without knowing exactly how things were going to go. I lived in Hawaii for a year and a half, a dream place for me, absolutely loved it. But things didn't go to plan. I had to leave there after a year and a half because my green card was going to take another 2 years. So, but even with that, I look back on my time in Hawaii, I don't regret it. I'm so grateful for the experiences that I had. And that leads to different things. In my case, it led me to moving to Grand Cayman. So I can't regret the things that I've done. And the catalyst for me was in wanting to make change. And the big thing for me is that, and I do this part more frequently now. I remind myself, how do I want to feel 2 months from now? Or how do I want to feel 6 months from now? Do I want to feel the exact same way that I'm feeling now? By the way, I do, because I've made the changes and I now run my own company. Or am I going to regret it? Am I going to be 6 months from now and regret that I didn't make change? So kind of thought-provoking stuff. I hope it maybe gives you some inspiration on something, kind of leaning into our fears and in embracing making change, because I got to tell you, I'm in my early 50s now. Trust me, the years go by, and for me, I live by not having regrets. And so far in life, I really don't. You know, if there's something that I want to do, I generally go after it. I make it happen. And if it doesn't work out, it's been an incredible experience anyway. I have a life now that is absolutely amazing. Didn't go exactly the way that I expected to, but I have no complaints, absolutely none. So I encourage you, to think about that. If you're blissfully happy in your life, I'm thrilled for you. I'm absolutely very happy for you. But if there's something there that you've wanted to do something about it for quite a while, but haven't taken that first step, I encourage you not to let fear rule you. And it's amazing when you make even that smallest first step, and that's what it takes. It takes that one step in order to step by step start going towards your journey, your destination. And that starts with you taking that first step. So I hope this gives you something to think about, maybe inspires you a little bit. As always, have a really great weekend ahead. We're coming into second week in November. Wow, time is going fast. And I just hope that it's an amazing rest of your week for you. So thanks as always for tuning in. Take care.